Welcome to Off the Record, featuring BreadTheLoafington and Max Emobean. Today's episode, Tomodachi Tangent.
Oh, you know what? I did kind of just take the controller. It is your game. You get to play. Hey, Billet, how are you?
I want to get mad about that. That's what Tomodachi is, but no, I can't have a fucking opinion.
I'm not saying you can't have an opinion.
But why the fuck do you always have to go no and then move on?
I literally don't. I go no, and here's why I think why I disagree with this.
Oh, it's not even open-mindedness. It's just closed-minded. I'm right because I know things. And it's just upsetting at this point. I don't like talking about Tomo anymore because it's fucking pissing me off.
Oh my god, Max. We can't have a conversation.
Well, it made me gumpy.
You tend to just get gumpy a lot, you notice that?
Yes, because it makes me mad.
Okay, what exactly is making you mad?
The very harsh, apathetic tone.
So just the way I've talked my entire life. My default speaking tone.
Well, it's not always that. Like, you know, like...
I don't.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Now you've got my interest. Like, I'm not mad at you. I just genuinely want to know what it is about this that's getting you all riled up. Because
last time I was hopeful and you shot it down and I was like, okay.
I'm not saying you can't be hopeful.
You sure fucking treat it like that.
Oh, I'm sorry that I
No, literally last time you were like, why are you so hopeful about this? And I'm just like, I cannot be fucking hopeful about the possibility of them adding features to the default Switch 1
I did not say why are you so hopeful about this. I did not.
Said,
you are a
fucking
liar. I just said I don't think they're going to do that. And then I explained why I don't think they're going to do that, because the Switch 2 is so close to being released. And then I also gave you really good examples. The Wii didn't get new features from when the Wii U released. The Switch, the 3DS and the Wii U didn't get new features when the Switch released. I gave you my counter opinion, and I gave you reasons why I believe that way.
Mm-hmm.
Did it change your mind?
No.
Then what's the issue? We both have our opinions, and that's that. You gave me your reasons and explained why, and I was like, okay, I don't agree with that. Here's my reasons. We had a conversation.
And I didn't like it.
This is going to sound so crass, but that's a you issue at that point.
I don't know. I just talk about it with Maggie, and it's just different.
To be fair, I've never had any friends that ever wanted to talk about Nintendo shit with me. So I get very defensive when I talk about Nintendo shit, because that's all the experience I've had. I've had to fucking constantly defend shit. Because all of my friends, for whatever fucking bullshit reason, hate Nintendo. So you've been very fortunate that someone you know, and that most of your friends, have been relatively good with Nintendo. I've never had that lived experience. My friends are either Xbox or PlayStation and say Nintendo can suck eggs.
You realize none of my friends are fucking Nintendo friends except Mia.
Mia and Maggie. Those are two more people than I've ever had in my life.
I get it. I don't know.
And all the friends that I did have Nintendo with never wanted to talk about the shit I was interested in.
It just sucks, because it's like, I'm defensive about my game.
And that's fair.
So let me have hope.
I'm not letting you have hope.
You are.
I'm not. There is nothing. I am not holding a gun to your head and saying, do not have hope for this fucking game. I want this game to be good. I'm hoping for the best myself. That's why I'm like, no, they're definitely going to add in all these cool features.
And that's why I want to explain no, but it's just, well, no, because they already made a game with it. And it's just, no. Simple as fucking put. No, they are not putting that in the fucking game.
But why would they?
Dude, I'm serious. Do you see any other character in the trailer have it? And I know it's a goddamn trailer, but come on. It's not gonna have it. That's the thing. I wish people would get their fucking heads out of their ass. No one expected the Metopia game to have all
this makeup shit. It's like, why it's so fucking hard to believe that they're gonna put the Metopia Me-Maker stuff in the Tomodachi Life game?
Because that game is just
What's the leap here? What's the barrier of entry?
Because there's a difference between a game that is number 2 and a fucking remake. That's the difference.
But Miitopia is not a remake.
Yes,
though.
it is.
No, it's not. It's a port.
Yes, it is.
It's a port.
No,
though.
it's not, because
It's
if it was a direct port, it would just be the direct port.
It's an enhanced
it's a
port.
fucking remake.
You know what an enhanced port means?
Yes, but I know what a fucking remake of a game is too.
Miitopia is not a fucking remake, though.
But there's a lot of shit redone in it.
No, there isn't. They added the horse and the advanced makeup features and the outgoing tickets. Everything else, 1-to-1.
I mean, I get that.
They only
like,
upscaled the textures.
It's not the same.
No, I'm not saying it is the same. It's an enhanced port.
Yeah, so therefore Tomodachi is not going to be an enhanced port. It's going to be its own thing. They're not going to just take Miitopia and be like,
I'm not saying they're going to just take Miitopia and put fucking bullshit in it. Like,
well, that's
Tomodachi Life does not have, like, the advanced me-making shit. So if they did add the advanced me-making shit, that would be a +1 to getting the new game on top of all of the other bullshit they're going to add.
Yeah,
because they're
but
going
I
to
don't
take away
see
shit.
that.
They're going to take away the shit that the Switch cannot do, like the solar panel dream, the dream where the Mii's looking out the window and your camera's enabled.
What's going to
Street
happen
Pass
with
shit.
those? Like,
You know, so they're going to replace that with more interesting shit to get people to buy the new one.
but it's certainly the makeup is not going to be the most interesting fucking
No,
thing,
I'm
and
not
it's not
saying
even
it's
going to
going to be.
happen.
The makeup will make people who liked the character customization of Miitopia happy. Because people really, really liked the character customization of Miitopia.
I know, but I'm tired of people doing that at this point. It's
Getting excited for interesting things?
no, we need separation, dude.
Miitopia and Tomodachi are in the same sphere of like a franchise. Miitopia is literally branded as a spin-off to Tomodachi Life.
I get it, but just no.
Like, you can't get any more in the same realm as those two games.
But
Like, they're not going to release, like, a new Wii Sports game with all of these advanced me-making features. It's not the point of the game. I'm surprised, genuinely, that they did add the advanced makeup shit for Miitopia and not something like Tomodachi Life. Because Tomodachi Life, the entire focus of the game is these stupid little character Miis, something that would make sense to give all this makeup shit to. Miitopia is a game that's strictly an RPG about character interactions. The makeup shit shouldn't really be a higher priority, but people went fucking ballistic for it.
well, it's because in my opinion, the reason why the makeup is such a thing for Miitopia is because Miitopia is the concept of your face stolen, so the makeup goes with it.
Yeah.
So that's why they added it. Tomodachi, what are you gonna do with makeup?
Make your Miis look prettier.
There's no point.
There is a point, though.
There is no point.
There is a point.
They added a fuck ton of features that are gonna be changing it. They're changing the body types. They're doing everything else. I don't see the point in makeup.
They're not
and I
really
think
changing the body types, though. They look like they're the standard Mii body
no, they're
types
not.
that they've been working for a
There's
while.
like 4 or 5 separate body types now. If
Oh,
you
man,
look,
I hope so.
they're changing the weight distribution. They're
I
not.
hope so.
No, if you look at the trailer, that's why I'm like sitting here wondering, because I keep seeing all these opinions of Miitopia fucking sweaters in this world where I'm just like, holy fuck, this game is not this game. Separate it. Like, you know, and it's just at this point I'm getting pissed off at opinions of that shit. And so it's just like, I'm fucking adamant about it. Makeup ain't happening in that game.
I'm not like saying that like all of the advanced makeup shit is going to be in Tomodachi Life. I think they're going to add in like lipstick and eyeshadow, and that's it.
No, see, what the hell that they did is that people don't grasp is that those fucking, like, the lips and the eyes of those girls that are shown, those are just male versions of those feminized. People are like, oh, those are, somebody just drew. No, that's just fucking female version of
I'm
eyes.
not stupid about that. Like, I can tell what's a part of
Same
the
with
Mii
the
models.
lips.
And
That's why I was like,
no,
why
but
did you
that's the
say the
thing.
lips were?
That's the thing. I
No.
don't think the lips are. I don't think the lips are going to be a part of the Mii mouth.
No,
Because that Mii mouth is already something that exists
yes,
in the
it's
game.
a
So I think
guy's Mii
okay,
mouth. That's why I'm saying there's going to
the
be
mouths aren't
female
gendered.
version. Yes,
there
but
are just
they're gonna-
mouths that are lips and then mouths that are lines.
Yeah, that's why they're gonna make it more variant, because maybe somebody does want that mouth, but they're like, I want it with lips. And so they're
You know
like,
what would be a great way to do that?
I know it would be makeup. See, this goes back into the straight up conversation of just the simple design features of the face. Just how it was before. How I'm like, what do you mean they're just gonna put this game on the first Switch and then just put all the new stuff on the Switch, and then we have an entire generation of console that never had a change. That just doesn't happen.
We had 3 generations of consoles that didn't change. What the fuck are you talking about? The Wii never got new features. The 3DS and Wii U never got new features. The Switch isn't going to get new features. They're going to put any new features for the Mii creation on the Switch too.
Well, I don't mean to...
They added shit to the 3DS. They added shit to the Switch. They didn't go back and be like, well, we gotta add it to the Wii because people are gonna get mad about it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, yes, the Wii had its default features. Then the 3DS came out and it had its new default features. But then we go to the Switch and it just has nothing. Like, literally, just color.
It has new shit.
I know it's just color.
It has new shit beyond just color. It has, like, fucking a bunch of new hairstyles that weren't available on the original, on the Wii or the 3DS.
Well, fucking hell, nobody ever uses them because I've never fucking seen them.
I guarantee you that they're fucking things that exist.
I swear I saw nothing. This isn't my thing. Oh, no, that's candy. I could have sworn there was no new features. That entire time, it was just color. I literally had Maddie go and be like, I didn't see anything new. It was just color. Like, I'm not tripping about that.
If I'm wrong, then I full credit, I'm wrong.
Like, if there was new features and I completely missed them, that is on me. But I could have sworn the Switch was the only generation that just added new hair colors and eye colors. And then Miitopia came out, and then people were like, oh, this is what should have happened. And I'm like, okay, but that's only for the game. Because, yeah, I'm pretty adamant on, like, the makeup is just to Miitopia. We're not going to have the Switch 2, and it's not going to have the makeup feature. That's why I'm adamant about Tomodachi's not going to have that. Because if it's not going to have it as a default Switch 2 thing, like, it's just not. There's no showcasing in the trailer. If they were going to make this a point, they would have made it apparent. They made the ears apparent, they made new noses and body types apparent, and hair.
Counterpoint, this is just a reveal.
I know.
This is not the full showcase trailer yet.
I know,
that's the part that irritates me about them announcing games so early, is because now we're going to have a fucking year of people arguing and bitching about this shit, and then someone's going to get proved right, and half the community's going to be upset.
Yeah, because I remember how this was what's with Okami, but that was just, that's way than it was. That's like 2-3 years before it ever comes out.
Yeah.
So I understand that my opinion then was just gumpy at first because of the trailer.
It's launch opinion.
This,
it's
I'm like, dude,
opinion.
that's coming out next year.
Also,
like,
sidebar, I think I am wrong about that, so I apologize.
See, then why would they have that whole console have nothing, just colors, and then they release it, and then they put all the new shit on there? And then they're like, yeah, Tomodachi has all this good shit.
I don't know, man.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, they might not necessarily put the new features on the Switch, but come on.
They're gonna use them in Tomodachi, obviously,
but they're not gonna put the makeup as, oh yeah, Switch 2 releasing makeup as a default thing that you can use. No, I'm not saying that the makeup.
I never said that the makeup would be the default thing. I was talking about like the noses and shit. And, like,
no, I know that is gonna be. That's just a given.
Like, no, the makeup shit's gonna be on a game by game basis.
But I feel like that's just Miitopia only. I'm sorry, but the way that it's going to be...
I'm copium about it. Listen, I'm copium about it. I'm hopium about it. Because I like the Miitopia Mii Maker a lot. And I just don't want to fucking remake all my Miis. You get it? You get why I want the Miitopia Mii Maker in Tomodachi Life?
Trust me. You think I'm just saying this because, like, I'm just saying, oh, fuck everybody who likes this? That's not what I'm saying.
You're very stubborn about your opinion, though.
Yes, because, oh my god, people are dumb.
Yes, that I will agree with. We've already seen some fucking horrendous takes of Tomodachi Life already.
Like, I don't know, like, just for example with Okami, I know this doesn't fully relate, but like, Okamiden, so game number fucking 2, is having no relation to this second game. That's where I'm sitting here being like, why the fuck would Miitopia, a game that has no relation to it, have relation?
Except it does, though.
No, it doesn't.
It does, though.
Did Miitopia have relation back to Tomodachi?
Yes, you could import your Tomodachi Miis into Miitopia.
No. That's a DS exclusive thing, okay? Ignoring a DS exclusive thing, do you ever see them refer back other than typical things that every other game would have, like consuming food?
How would you do that, though?
Yeah, see? Yeah, how would you do that? Because it's not in there. It's its own thing. Case in point, it's its own fucking thing. Just because it has Miis doesn't mean it's Tomodachi. But just
because it's Tomodachi Life and just because it's its own thing doesn't mean people can't hope and pray and want this cool fucking meme maker stuff.
Yeah, I'm not saying nobody can have hope for it. It's just people are sure have their heads up their ass if they think that normal face features are makeup.
No, God, no. Yeah, no. People
That's
are retarded
what
about
I'm
that.
saying,
Like,
and that's what this
But I think the lipstick that we saw on the blonde me, I think that's makeup.
No,
I think that's makeup.
I do not, because it's got the default coloring of lips that if you look, it's the default lip look. It's literally a default lip.
Listen, okay, if I'm wrong about this, right? Then egg on my face about it.
And I get to play whatever fucking whole entire franchise I want on this channel, like you said.
Did I promise franchise?
Yes, you did.
I guess I did, didn't I? But if I'm right, then I get bragging rights and you can't disagree with me for a whole year.
Well, you don't get to brag a whole year.
I'm probably not going to anyways, but I just, I get bragging rights.
For a day.
For the entire time we record Tomodachi.
I will not be recording Tomodachi.
If I'm right about it, you won't record Tomodachi because you'll crash out. You'll be gumpy about it.
It'll be a solo playthrough for you.
There's no way for me to win in this scenario, is there?
No, this is my game.
Okay.
It's like if I made an opinion about Final Fantasy. You would have been like, are you stupid? Yeah, side quests are not that bad, guys. In Final Fantasy, Rebirth, or whatever the fuck, those are just fine. That's actually good for the game and the story.
You would have hated the fucking side quests. You would have fucking hated them.
Right? I don't know. Okay,
so to put it in plain text, to make sure that I have you understand you correct, you believe that there is going to be new default face features, such as
I'm just
feminizing the male mouths.
they're not exactly male mouths, but yeah, more mouths that kind of come off masculine that should have additional, lips. Because
do you think then in the inverse,
isn't.
do you think like some of the more feminine eyes are going to get masculine counterparts, aka not having eyelashes?
Yeah, I think that some eyes should have that. I think it should be interchangeable, just like Animal Crossing.
It drives me fucking insane, some of the me features.
Because in Animal, I know this doesn't relate, but for example, in Horizons, they made sure to be like, look, one with lashes and one with not.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that in New Horizons, they kind of, not really, but they kind of did away with gender locked shit. And I think, Mies have always been relatively gender open. They've not gender locked anything.
No, that's the thing. Mies are very much gender open, but you can make a bunch of female Mies and a bunch of male Mies and they start looking the same.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm also just hoping that's
case in point, right? I made Mies of Sleep and Odd Fox and they look fucking spitting images of each other.
Yeah. And see, I don't know, that's the thing. I'm just it's just the case of that's what they're gonna do. It's gonna be really new features, and
it'd be really fucking nice if they added some new shit to the Switch Mii system. Because
colors, colors.
To not mince words here, they have severely dropped the ball on the user customization features in the Switch.
Yes,
they have fumbled that bag really hard. They've had themes on the Switch since 2017, and still to this day, on the day before the Switch 2 announcement, we still only have basic white and basic black. They fucked up bad with the user customization.
Yeah, and that's just what makes me kind of just baffled, is that it's what do you mean we just move on from user customizations, including themes in the Mii Maker, and then we just release the Switch 2, and then all of a sudden people are like, this is the one that's gonna have everything, and then we're still gonna have a console that's running that's
hopium,
nothing.
People are full of seed coat maldium. People will delude themselves into thinking the best possible outcome will happen when you look at the culture that we're in, and also specifically gaming culture, and also the vibe that Nintendo's gotten and certain companies have. I genuinely am not expecting a lot in terms of the user customization again. I think, truthfully, if we do get new themes, it's going to be basic black, basic white.
Oh, there's a nice red.
Basic red, basic blue, basic green.
Well, I know it kind of sucks.
I'm expecting very little out of Nintendo again, because they've completely disappointed me with the Switch 2, with the Switch 1 themes. The fact that was the easiest possible thing that they could have kept the console alive with, that they just simply didn't do, and instead they funneled money into the fucking pointless NSO.
Yeah, and I don't know, I agree with you on that, because it just, I don't know, that, it just upsets me, because it's that's why I just feel so I don't know. I feel very strong with my opinion because it's like you
I'm not gonna
release
lie, right?
Miitopia and it's like, okay, you get this cool shit. And it's like, okay, that's more to the game.
You still have the fundamentals of the
Yeah,
Mii
you still
Maker
have the
built in there.
fundamentals.
Like those haven't changed. They just gave you more customization options.
And it's
that's
great.
kind of what I'm thinking with Tomodachi Life, but the nose is what's making me think, maybe it's going to be a little more.
Like the pointed, the different nose feature.
Different nose of the blonde chick.
Well, that's because that's the thing. If you take a look at all of the Miis, they all have slightly new and different features to them all that are default. They're not makeup, and I just wish people
they have a
would stop
different
saying
the
it's
makeup
makeup.
style. The makeup style has a different vibe to it.
Yeah.
Than the Mii Maker stuff does, because the Mii Maker stuff is very clearly vector graphics with very little like pen pressure to it. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the makeup shit all has like pen pressure and opacity and blur and shit to that. That's why I think the lipstick or the lips that was on the blonde Mii, that's why that's going to be makeup to me. However, the lips kind of get a little weird because of the fact that there are a lot of weird looking lips in the Mii Maker by default. Because you have that one lip set. That's just the two ovals.
Yeah.
That always looked really weird to me.
No lines, no black lines or anything.
Right?
So,
it's just two circles. And I sat there thinking, this looks weirdly racist.
yes. So like,
I wonder if they're going to get rid of some features that might be deemed a little too
that's
controversial.
kind of how I
and then
feel.
replace them with new ones.
That's kind of what I'm kind of thinking is like, we're not going to have like noses gone, but we're going to have a few noses. We're going to have a few eyebrows. We might have a few lips reworked and changed.
I think,
then we might have a head shape or two.
You're slowly convincing me to your side now.
And then straight up, it's just plainly stay obvious. We're not going to have the same body type just expanded here. It's going to be like 4 different body types, and we're going to pick 3 different weights or 4 different weights per body type, and that's how it's going to look.
The thing that I hope for is, you know how in Miitopia, I don't know if you've picked up on it, but Miitopia has a couple of different presets for their bodies. You have short fat, medium fat, tall fat, short skinny, medium skinny, tall skinny, etc., etc., etc. I'm wondering if they'll do something like that based on the metadata of the Mii, and they'll kind of estimate it to the certain body type.
Yeah.
Because, I made super short and fat in Miitopia, but in the Mii Maker, but in Miitopia, he's shorter and fat. Real fat. So it's like, it's not quite the same Mii proportions. It's a rough estimation because the default Mii body in Miitopia is a specific model and texture that they don't want to fuck around with too much. So you know what? I think you might be onto something about that. And you are convincing me to your side. I'm kind of understanding where your point is now.
Well, because, why would you, like, and that's the thing, you're releasing it on the first console. If you released it on the second, it would have been like, all right, that's what it is. But you're releasing it on the first one.
Yeah, the thing that's killing this here, that's like staggering me, is the fact that this is not a Switch 2 game.
No, this is the Switch 1. So
it's going to be a Switch 2, and it's going to be a Switch, like Nintendo Switch enhanced game on the Switch 2.
Well, yeah, because I don't know, like, imagine adding my Mii, like, imagine taking my Tomodachi Mii and being like, all right, I want this on my Switch. Oh, I can't put it on my Switch. I have to put it on my Switch 2 only. Only on that. Can't put it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Only. That doesn't
That's
make
something
sense.
else that bothers me.
Why would you release it, like, imagine Miitopia, like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, it's just kind of, you want this? Okay, it's just kind of weird, like.
I mean, there's a lot of problems with the Switch and Mii's in general. They've really dropped the ball on Mii's and on the Switch's lifetime, because really up until these last 3 years, they've not done anything with the Mii's in the 7-year lifetime that the Switch has been out.
No.
Mii's have been a part of games, but they've never had their own focus until... Because 21 Miitopia released, 23 Switch Sports released, and now 26 we're getting Tomodachi Life. There's a market for the Mii games again. And people are demanding for it.
And people are clearly, since the sports one, we're like, fuck that. We do not like the design.
Oh, because the sports mates suck. They're ugly. They went from being the most iconic, recognizable player avatar in the world to anime slop. I was going to look something up, but I can't remember it now.
One thing I am going to be like, yeah, this isn't gonna happen on the Switch one is I know the ears are not gonna go on the Switch one. They're not gonna change the head models, but why would they just leave the features alone? Like when it comes to Switch 2, they're gonna be like, yeah, here's all the cool shiny hair.
It'd be nice
the
if they
ears.
added the ears to the Switch 2 as like the base model.
No, that's what they're gonna do for the Switch 2
I hope
base.
so.
They're gonna add the hair that they showcased and the ears. But for Switch 1, I just don't know why they wouldn't add just the features. I'm not expecting
You notice,
the ears,
right, in the
not
Switch,
expecting the
in the
hair.
Tomodachi Life trailer, right? You know how in Metopia, all of the wigs, they have their own separate like physics to them. They flow a lot more than Me hair does. In the Tomodachi Life trailer, none of their hair was really moving all that much. So I think you're on the ball about the hair. I really sincerely hope they add some new hairstyles because I'm getting tired of the same like stock hairstyles. I hope they add some better fucking short hair for feminine hairstyles because the hairstyles that we have for short hair for women, terrible. All of them, they're all fucking horrible.
Yeah, they're
The
not
only one
always
that's
the
good
best.
is the one that you have for your me.
I think
That's the only one that's good, and even then, it's good.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like every piece of hair is going to be reworked. Like every
I
hairstyle
kinda
is
hope
going
so.
to be reworked.
Well, because you noticed, right, if you look at the shadows of the hair, right, the actual render shadows of the hair, they have a lot more like texture and feel to them. So
if you
they're definitely going to rework a bunch of shit.
Well, and the two main girl models, those are never knew it for a long time, but they're just iconic Nintendo chicks.
Well, yeah, they were from
And
Wii Sports.
They've changed. They've kind of had their own slight feature changes over time.
Well, not only that, you want a better example of that? Look at Smash Bros, right? Smash Bros Ultimate, the default Mii's for Smash Bros Ultimate, those are all just more elaborate versions of the ones for Smash 4. Because, right, you look at the ones for Smash 4 and they're just painfully generic Mii's. You know, right down to the render style. And then you look at the ones for Ultimate and it's like, holy shit, these ones actually have, like, class and personality. Because they're not just using, like, default on-load Mii assets.
So weird not seeing them shinier.
I know, right? But I kind of fuck with it. Apparently, they'll get this. Sakurai wanted to add Mii's on Smash Bros. Back on the Wii.
That, I feel like, yeah, it was like definitely they had it in mind and they just probably couldn't.
Well, they couldn't
work
because
it.
of the fact that the Wii was already the Brawl was pushing its limits on the Wii anyways. And also, with the Subspace Emissary and with Sonic and Snake already in there was just too much for them to do. You know, because most of the 8-year development time on Smash Brawl was dedicated to the Subspace Emissary.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's a whole ass like second game mode. It's a beat 'em up game mode, right?
Wow.
Well, it's like an 8-hour campaign.
Cool.
Yeah. But so, long story short is that I think now that we've had like an actual sit down conversation about it for a prolonged period of time, I'm starting to see your point about it.
Sorry, I get so comfortable.
Oh, it's okay. Again, it spawned conversation. You know?
I know, I just this is one game that I'm very, very, very unbelievably defensive about.
Well, because it's one that you've had since launch. So, I get it. And I know I'm kind of coming in as like a late stage tourist to this to a degree.
That's why I feel very gumpy, because I'm sitting here being like, I know you know 3D shit, but just listen to practicality.
Well, because it's not just that I know 3D shit. I'm very familiar with Nintendo's development processes because I've looked so much into them, right? I've researched development on N64 games, on the NES games, on the Super Nintendo games, on the GameCube specifically, on the Wii, a lot of games on the Wii. I know the development backend of the Wii games. And even with the Switch, I know the development backend of certain Switch games. Like Mario Odyssey is well documented. So I'm very familiar with what they intend and what their game plan was with Mario Odyssey. So I know that I can kind of come across as like actual about it.
Yes, you do, and it
Which
makes
I
me
don't
so
mean to.
mad.
I don't
Like,
mean to.
I know you're not trying to, but I sit there and I'm just like, you're cynical.
I don't try to be cynical. I just,
And I'm just like, I don't know, I'm very tone sensitive, and I know you're not trying to be mean, but I'm just like,
and I know I come across as very callous when I talk about this shit, because 90% of the arguments that I get into with my friends about this shit is the same problem, is that they're not mad at the things I'm saying, they get the things I'm saying,
Yeah.
they're just mad about how abrasive I am about it.
yeah.
Because me and Colin got into an argument about The Sims 4 once, where he was like, I hate the fact that The Sims 4 DLC is overpriced, and I'm like, I get that, but like, the intent behind the DLC is that you're supposed to pick and choose which ones you want. You don't have to buy all of them. Mm-hmm. Then he was like, stop defending shitty business practice. And he just kept progressively getting mad at me about it. And I'm like, I'm not defending shitty business practices. I'm just telling you what the developer intent of it is. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, and see, that's where I'm sitting here in my perspective with being like, this is my personal take on the developer intent.
Well,
because why the fuck would they take all of it like that?
You're coming from someone who's played the game and you know, like, almost fucking frame for frame how the game operates.
Dude, like...
I'm coming from it as an outsider who's only ever looked into people playing the game, hands-off experiences, and what very little development information is out there about Tomodachi Life. Because the development behind Tomodachi Life is really under lock and key because they don't want other people making a game like it. You know?
That's why, like, I don't know, at least people who really experience, like, remember that, like, you've seen that opinion of somebody who played the game for so
quote
long.
Unquote, and then fucking had the audacity to say, well, I hope they remove all the shit that makes it fun.
Yeah, the entire personality chart, and just label it as introvert and extrovert, and then pick their individual interests like The Sims.
Which is insane to me, because introvert and extrovert is way more restrictive than the 16 personality types that they have, which is already restrictive.
So, for example, that person, what they were saying, so... You know how when you level up, you get to give your Miis 8 items?
I hope they let you give.
Yeah, they give you a little more.
Because there's, 16, 17 items in the game that you can give to your Miis?
No, you can give them 8 items to have.
No, I know you can give them maximum 8 items, but how many gift options are there in the game?
There's all of the music, so that's 8 types of music. I mean
specifically the interactable objects that you can give them, like the Wii U, the 3DS, the laptop. Just those
more
ones.
Than 8. I'm assuming it's double that, so 16.
If, hypothetically, right, Tomodachi Life 2 will bring that system back, they probably will. I hope that they give you the ability to give them all of the gifts, because that's something that personally drives me up the fucking wall. See,
that's where I want to counter that argument and be like, you're almost agreeing with the person, because the person is saying that they want to change the personality to be black and white and give them items akin to their personality, but they seem to forget that those items that when you give to the level up is akin to their personality. If somebody has soccer ball, they're a sports person. They're a computer. Yeah. So that's where that's too broad. If you give them all the items, then you have an every do-it-all person.
But do you see what my point, where I'm coming from though is?
Oh, well, because
as someone who wants to, like, see everything to completion, it's just a little bug in my brain that's like, well, you didn't finish the fucking gift items, you didn't finish the game.
But you can continuously level up and interchange them all the time.
Yeah,
that's not restrictive. It's not, you pick it and that's what it is forever.
It's just like, you know when you give them the music and you get the little, like, blank out and it gets the little green check mark, and same with the interiors and same with the clothes? I just want that for the gift options.
Yeah, because by technicality, if that one was finished, all you would be able to give to your Mii is pocket money, which that is why they didn't do that.
Yeah,
because they made it so that you're not
You can keep playing the game without running out of shit to do.
Because my sister has now modded it entirely, all they ask is the same few things, and that game gets really boring when it does that. So it has its way. There's a reason why it's made the way it is. It has its way to give inclusivity. So, I'm gonna find a better word for that. I don't know. It gives it a way to keep the game going because, you don't want to fully complete Tomo. Like, I know it is plain as day. Like, this is a completionist game. It shows 231 food items, shows this many for this, but...
Okay, there's 28 giftable items in the game.
There's more than I thought. Damn.
Yeah. But I get your point, though, about how, like, because there's 28 of them, right, you can give... if you want a Mii to be, like, more of a gamer, you can give them the laptop, the Wii U, the 3DS, etc., etc., etc. If you want them to be more of, like, a sporty type, you can give them the barbells, the soccer ball,
the skateboard, all that stuff.
The fishing hook.
Yeah.
So I get it. And now, saying that, it's like, oh, okay, that's why they did that. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. To keep it going.
However, the worms in my brain still tell me, but I want to give them everything all at once.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, I guess I'm just going to have to, like, grit my teeth and suck it up. Which I have to do that a lot. I'm wrong about a lot of things.
See, I obviously can't wait to...
That's why I hate when I'm right about shit. Because I like being wrong. I like getting proven wrong.
Well, see, I'm really hoping that this is the case, that at least one of my points can prove wrong.
Here's the thing, is that
you were probably more right with the Switch argument in terms of the features maybe not going back to it.
I just don't think,
But I really don't think that the makeup is going to be in it. That's the only thing. That's the only two opinions I really have.
Can I offer you a counterpoint? What if makeup is in the game?
It's just going to be makeup in the game.
However, like the hair dye, it's something that you can give to the Mii and then they apply it themselves. So like the lips.
I hate that. I'd really not like that. Would make people mad. They'd be like, well, I can't put my character then. I'd have to wait till I unlock that. So it's kind of flawed.
Okay.
I'm just saying as on it, but
this is just a counterpoint. I'm not saying this is what I believe in. I'm just offering a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's
not a bad counterpoint, but it's kind of flawed.
I think it's a possibility. Because again, a lot of people were like, well, the hair dye is a little too restrictive. Hyphen, do you think they'll add in more hair colors for the hair dye?
Straight up, they're going to make those default. Do you think they're just going to get rid of the
hair dye and let you pick your hair color?
I think they'll do a bit of both. I think they'll, just like the one where they showed just the tips, I feel like you just like...
Or might it be a case of like you have the default hair colors and then the hair dye only gives them like certain preset hairstyle, like new hair color styles?
No, Animal Crossing New Horizons doesn't have tipped hair. No, that's just Miitopia.
Miitopia does though, and it wouldn't be that hard to believe that they saw the stuff in Miitopia and was like, okay, we can do this.
Well, the hair
in
for
Tomodachi.
Sure. The hair, the inspiration, I can see it. That 100%. And I feel like they are going to have a separation of hair and wigs. Straight up, that's going to be in there.
That'd be interesting.
I do believe that they're going to have wigs.
I didn't think they'd bring back the wigs actually.
Oh, I thought that I always kind of thought that from the get-go they were going to be like, okay, we're going to have some default hairstyles, some new ones, and then they're going to be like, boom, wigs.
Do you think, much like certain hairstyles in Tomodachi Life, that you'll be able to buy them at the clothes shop or from the hat shop?
That'd be cool.
Or do you think they'll introduce a new building that's a barber shop?
You know what? Because we didn't see any form of a town hall.
There's a lot of things that we didn't get to see in Tomodachi Life.
We did not see a single town hall, which means that you have a very high chance to have a separate little barbershop capability. Like the Mii creators spot be there. I don't think I ever told you this. The number one thing that I hope that they bring back from Tomodachi Collection, this is going to be a separate thing, don't worry. The thing I hope they bring back from Tomodachi Collection was that certain Mii's could ask for like a career path. Yeah, I've seen quite a number of people's opinions on jobs, and a lot of people's opinions on jobs are so ridiculous, it's insane.
I don't want anything too extreme. You know how certain Mii's can get picked and plucked off your island and get put into like the item shops and shit? Mm-hmm. I'd kind of be okay with it if, because they have more buildings, certain Mii's can get hired to do that job. And that's just their job that they rotate off of. Well, yeah, I feel like like, say, for example, right, I have like me, Ash, Dayton, Kate on my island. Like, one day it's me in the shop, the next day it's Dayton, the next day it's Ash, the next day it's Kate, and that repeats every week.
Oh, it'd be really cute.
It'd be really
cool if you could create a work schedule. That's a little bit crazy, but I feel like it'd be really cute to have this like then a new rankings board and have a work board instead. Because then it
also mirror Animal Crossing, where every character in Animal Crossing has their own schedule.
I guess, yeah, they do have their own schedule based on their personality. They get up at a certain time, they go to bed at a certain time.
But also, you also have, like, because there's a lot of games that Tomodachi can take inspiration from, right? Especially the rise of games like Stardew Valley. Every character in Stardew Valley has their own hard-coded schedule, down to even that they have specific days throughout the year where they go to the doctor.
No, that would be interesting.
I think that'd be fun.
I feel this sounds
as if if you could set up like, or if like maybe hands off kind of style, where throughout the course of the game your Mii's will like kind of develop their own schedule. Where it's like, okay, Mii 1, they are
well, that is kind of true.
Outgoing adventurer, so they are more likely to go outside and they'll go to a variety of different buildings every day. Like, oh, it's 10 a.m., they'll probably be found at the newsroom. Oh, it's 3 p.m., they'll probably be found at the park.
Yeah, see, this is where, yes, I kind of agree with you with that, where I think maybe they'll make it so, yes, Mii's are not as random and sporadic, but this is also kind of weird because
I
there's
think you
that
can
random
balance
chance.
both. I think you can balance both.
I think there's also the random chance that does very blatantly showcase in Tomodachi. Again, it's very random, but for example, Maddie's me, Aiden. He loves going to the beach. He's obsessed with it. There are me's that are obsessed with doing certain things. Who was it? There is a couple me's on my island that are very consistent with what they do. They're actually like, I go and do this, I go and like, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't remember who, but somebody goes to the cafe regularly, and I'm just like,
well, I know that
okay.
BreadTheLoaf. I've noticed BreadTheLoaf. We tend to see him at the cafe more often than not.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I'm hoping that random chance kind of just goes away, and it's more so like this is a consistent to the character, kind of like food, where it's just like, boom, you're generated, your favorite thing is bacon, boom, you're generated, you're consistently
your schedule,
like this.
Like boom, you're generated, this is your schedule. Your schedule is you get up at 7 a.m, you go to bed at 9 p.m. What you do in between there is you hang out at the beach, you hang out at the cafe, you hang out at the store.
But obviously they'll give the unconsistentness with it,
Well,
because if it's too consistent, then people are going to be like, boring, move on.
Yeah, right. They'll be like, well, okay, well, now I just know what my me's are going to do.
Little bits of consistency people will enjoy. At least I know I would.
Here's what I'm thinking. Like, okay, Actual, bang, he's generated. Here's his favorite foods. Here's his dislikes. Here's his schedule. 7 a.m. wake up. Around 8 o'clock a.m. you'll probably... There's like a 50-50 chance you'll find him at the beach. 10 a.m. 50-50 chance that you'll find him at the cafe. There's a whole hour and a half there, or a whole 2 hours there, that you'll not know where the hell he's going to be. Because it's like, well, there's only so much time that they can spend at a certain place, right? They'll be there for like maybe 20, 30 minutes. And after that time, they'll go fuck off to like La La Land somewhere else. They'll be in their apartment. They'll be at the park. They'll be at a store. They'll be at a bookshelf. They'll be at a friend's place.
This is going to be interesting too. The Mias are very clearly not going to be at their houses often, because Tomodachi was apartment based, and now they're going to be way more outside.
I think they're still going to there's going to be more than enough time that they're going to be in their houses. Otherwise, the interior shop is going to be completely negated.
They're going to be in their house. It's just, I just like that they're going to do more things outside.
I'm excited about that too.
When you do play, a lot of them stay in their apartments all the time, and you're just like,
not only that, right?
Leave?
Because of the fact that it's like there's not an outside to the island, really. Like, there's the outside of the island, but there's not an outside that they go to.
No, and that's the thing. There's like, you see them do certain things, but you don't see them like you don't see them doing like many things often. You'll see them like walk around the fountain.
Yeah, walk around the park.
It's only one camera POV of the fountain, and I like that. When you see Tomodachi 2, it's like, wow, I see everything. I could see where they're walking and see when they're heading to the fountain and when they're leaving the fountain, not just they're at the fountain and another shot at the amusement park. Like, I'm so excited to see them, like, move and
that's
to
another
their
thing
location.
where I'm like, okay, if there's a schedule system, then they can prevent the same me being in two different places in, like, seconds. Because there's been times where you've checked your island and it's like, oh, well, Giga Chad's at the fountain. And then we go to check out, like, the amusement park, and somehow Giga Chad's warped time and space, and he's at the amusement park. He was just at the fountain, Yeah,
and because it's got that, like, literal, obvious, like, it's almost like a picture took. Like, I don't know how to describe that sound, but it's like, cut, move on. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but that's kind of how it is.
It's a clapboard is the best I describe it, because it sounds like a clapboard.
Plus, with the, like, immediate blink, and you don't see him anymore, like...
I think the number one thing that I'm really interested about is because, right, Tomodachi Life 3DS game, dual screens, took advantage of that fact. How are they going to do a lot of the menu shit in Tomodachi Life on the Switch?
I feel like you're going to be able to...
Do you think it's going to be a button menu, where you press a button and a menu will open, or do you think it's going to be on the side of the screen?
I feel like we're going to have, like, a combo of two.
You think so?
Yeah, like, kind of like how Brothership is, where it's like, I know it doesn't
You have, like,
quite
certain
make sense.
UI shit on the screen?
Yeah, like, I feel like we're going to have, like... Because we don't need a map. There's no map.
I saw someone make a concept. Hold on, I wonder if I can find it again. Because I liked the concept that someone made for, like, a Switch Tomodachi Life. And I want to kind of show it to you, because I want to get your thoughts on it.
I feel like, yes, I feel like we are going to get a little card. I feel like we're going to get a little card on the side that's going to showcase their friendships, relationships, and all that stuff. You know what? I feel like everybody's going to get a journal.
A journal would be nice.
I feel like everybody's gonna get a journal where it shows
gonna
their
have, like, a
friends,
journal
their
UI.
foods, their interests. I feel like that's exactly what it's gonna be. We're at every apartment that you go in or you click on the Me, they're all gonna have a journal or something like that. Maybe a cell phone for all we know, and do it like that. But maybe not a cell phone because that's Animal Crossing. So they might not do the cell phone. But
I like the idea of the journal because already in the original in Tomodachi Life, when you press the trigger, right, it changes over to their best friends list, and it looks like it's being kept in a journal.
yeah, I think the journal thing's like way more gonna happen because they're not gonna copy Animal Crossing with the phone.
They might take inspiration for certain things from
Like
Animal
they are
Crossing.
gonna have phones because they all have cell phones, but they're not. That's
But
not
there's a
gonna be the
difference
menu.
between having the item cell phone in the game and then having a menu be a phone.
But I don't think they're gonna do that because again, Animal Crossing. Like, you can tell, they are
God, I'm
partial
never gonna find
developers
this
of
fucking-
Animal Crossing, so, like, they're probably not gonna do that.
Oh, you've already watched it. Okay. Like, yeah, it's this one. I think this is the most likely kind of UI that they're going to go with. You know?
Yes, and a mood. I feel like we need a mood
I think
thing.
the mood is definitely going to happen. That way you can
Yes.
kind of tell more easily when they're about to crash out.
Yeah. No, I did see that.
I like that UI a lot. If
I
they
do
went
too.
with that, if they went with that UI or anything close to that, I'd be like, all right, you know what?
I'm hoping that it looks like that, but they, like, put it in a book. Instead of just, like,
Kind of,
be the
yeah.
little gift, just put it in a book, put it in the corner, and do that, and make it, like,
Yeah.
like that.
I wouldn't. I also. There was something else I was going to be like, you know what? It would be nice to have like a ranked favorites for this, but I can't remember what that was.
I kind of hate that in the trailer they showed things that are like, huh? And then they fucking hid things that would have been like you could see them dancing, you could see the kids playing, but you don't see them have
Is that going to just be like a thing that happens, or is that a specific daytime event?
I know, it's like, it makes you sit there and be like, for example, like if I seen somebody skateboarding, I would have been like, yo, they have the items. But now I'm like, not saying that they're going to be gone, but I'm just
here's the thing.
they kept it hidden for a reason because they're probably going to showcase newer ones. And
Yeah,
then,
that's the thing, is that because there's only 26 giftable items in the original game, they might bump it up to like 48.
See, yeah, trailers are both awesome and peeving.
Reveal trailers are the
Yeah,
worst things ever. Showcase trailers are the best things ever.
That's kind of what I mean as the reveal trailer. They're both awesome and peeving because it's like they show you some things, but then they also don't show you things that you sit there and be like, is it this or is it that? I can't believe we've been talking for 40 minutes.
I know. Well, hey, I mean, that's what happens when we yap about Tomodachi Life. Do you want to kind of... Because I feel like we both got our points across, and I'm now agreeing with you about your opinions.
I didn't mean to just to make it clear, I did not mean to make you mad, or did not get mad to make you forced into my opinion.
No, but I mean, after you were done being mad about it, you then explained your opinion more and elaborated on it more, and we talked about it more. You know, we conceded about a lot of things. We talked about a lot of things. We still disagree about some things. You're not going to unconvince me about the Metopia makeup. I'm hope-pilled about that. It's a delusional take, but I'm full of delusional. I was delusional about Tomodachi Life.
I'm kind of delusional with the features going backwards because it's very obvious that they haven't.
I feel like everyone's deserved a delusional opinion like that, you know? Especially because the Switch dropped the ball so hard on customization.
Yeah, that's why I just feel like I want to be delusional with that one.
I don't think you're in the wrong...
But Tomo, I'm like, bro, I'm not.
I don't think you're in the wrong for the Mii customization, or for like wanting the Mii customization on the Switch 1. However, I do think that it's not going to happen on the Switch 1. It will happen for the Switch 2. They're gonna probably add new features.
The Switch 2 is a given.
I hope, again, that one AK plus B 471 game that they made, that music game, there's a lot of unique hairstyles and shit for that game that they made. I hope that those hairstyles get added to the Switch 1, to the default Mii Maker, because those are really nice hairstyles. So. I know that's what you wanted. I'm sorry for making you gumpy.
It's okay. I just been thinking.
It doesn't help that everyone get mad at you for your opinion.
I mean, nobody's really had an opinion because again, Maddie's like understood what I thought,
Yeah.
and she's like, okay, and I told her what you thought, and she was like, okay-ish.
I mean, Maddie never agrees with me on anything, so...
Well, because she was like, she did agree with you with like the features not going backwards, but she's like, she has the same hope, but she was like sitting there being like, yeah, they're not gonna add the makeup. Like, she kind of agrees with me more with that, where it's like Tomodachi, or fuck.
Miitopia.
Miitopia is, not it is gonna have some, but it's not gonna have all the influence into it.
I get that. I'm delusional.
However,
That's my delusional take.
yeah.
I think everyone's allowed one delusional Tomodachi Life take. It's been 10 years.
See, it's weird because I don't exactly have a delusional Tomo take. I have a delusional.
You have a delusional
me
Switch
take.
UI take.
Yes, I have a Switch UI take.
But it stems from Tomodachi Life, so same bubble.
And Metopia.
To a degree.
Well, dude, like that does too. Because trust me, when Metopia came out, I was like, all right, let's see this game, and I'm like, this is not like Tomodachi. It's its own thing, and I'm proud of it.
It's a spin-off to Tomodachi.
But it definitely doesn't show anything similar. Like, I know you may think, and it's like, that's just basic shit. Giving somebody food is basic shit.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say that's not
But,
good. Just because
it's a spin-off to Tomo because they're in the same vein of you insert your own characters into the story.
Yeah, well, that's what RPGs are. So
Kind of, not really. Preset characters, these are all characters that have their own personalities and history, versus Metopia, where it's literally you choose the personality and you choose the character. I don't choose the personalities for any of these characters.
Okay, so what's an RPG? I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm like, is
an RPG is just Metopia is an RPG because it follows traditional RPG.
Is this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Final Fantasy is like one of the RPGs of all time.
Okay, but
Paper Mario is an RPG, Brothership is an RPG because it has the gameplay styles of being an RPG.
Well, yeah, see, I know the style of the gameplay, but I kind of always thought that...
See, here's the thing, is that we're hitting a point now where RPG is so broad of a term that it means nothing anymore. That's why JRPG and ARPG and CRPGs are all things. Mm-hmm. You know, because then you have, like, combat RPGs, stuff like Armored Core and Helldivers and... to a degree, Last of Us inspired games like God of War and shit, and then you have JRPGs, which is just Japanese RPG.
Last of Us inspired game of War. You realize that
The 2018 game, I'm sorry to say, is very heavily influenced by the gameplay styles of Last of Us and Last of Us inspired games, because heavy use of skill trees, heavy use of over the shoulder. Repetitive animations.
See, I remember watching that development, and they made a reason because if you've ever played God of War...
I have not played the originals, I've only ever played the 2018. Yeah.
Oh, then you don't know the suffering of the camera.
I know the camera is
literally
really
were
bad.
like, bro, we're doing this because people are like, this sucks.
I know, that's, like, here's the thing, is that I'm acutely aware of certain things about God of War, and I remember people saying, because I watched Let's Plays of it, I remember people distinctly saying in God of War 1, the camera is your biggest enemy in the game.
Yes.
It's a fucking fight to get the camera to work.
See, and that's why I love the 2018, because it's like, okay, yeah, it is over the shoulder, and yeah, but it's just...
But the thing for me that makes it painfully like Last of Us
probably the skill tree.
Is 100% the skill tree.
But I know this is crazy,
in
but
God of War it worked, they made it fit.
That's really good, and it's not annoying. Like,
skill trees can go either way for me. I can either be like, okay, you know what, they've implemented it really well, or in Rebirth, they implemented it really shittily and I hated it.
Well, see, I guess they're kind of the same. So I was about to say something else, but that's just, I've also not played the last one.
Because, okay, for an example, right, in God of War, all of the skills that you can unlock via the skill tree, they feel like actual, like, weapon upgrades. They're all kind of unique things.
Especially when you get those blades, dude. When you sit there and you're whipping them around, it's like... And then you get all the shit, you're just like, bro, I feel like I'm playing the old games right now, whipping them.
I'm not kidding you when I say this. Rebirth skill tree, you get 7 different skills unlocked for each character that are the same fucking thing.
Boo.
They filled the skill tree with useless skills just to have a skill tree.
Yeah, Last of Us skill tree is just gun upgrade.
Like, I'm not kidding.
Gun and consumption upgrade. That's it.
There are certain skills that you can do with multiple characters that you can unlock in Rebirth, and that you can unlock them a bunch, right? Like, I don't remember what the specifics are, it's been too long, but then you have another skill that's just called Synergize.
That's so funny.
And you have to unlock it individually for every character on every character. There is 7 playable characters in the game. It's bad. It's not boring. It's bad. You could have had that as one single skill that you can unlock for everybody, and then flood the skill tree with actual useful shit. But instead, they filled 90% of the skill tree with useless shit like that to make it seem like it's a more elaborate skill tree.
I feel bad for you because I've heard you express this
Oh,
before and other stuff, and I sit there and feel bad about Final Fantasy because that kind of got like a bit of a smack to the face with a big old iron pan with a lot of stuff like that.
That sucks is that I was so excited for it too.
I know.
I was like, I'm so excited.
It makes me feel bad because when God of War was being announced, I was like, yo, I'm so fascinated to see that my dad brings me this game on launch, and I'm like, yo, this just came out today, and I have this, and I've played, and I'm playing it, and I'm like, these are improvements, and they're not annoying. Like,
and then
the skill tree is not annoying.
Remake came out. Remake Part 1 came out, and it was great. It was fantastic. I loved it. There was no annoying skill trees. All of the abilities you can unlock by using the weapons really encouraged you to use the different weapons. And I was like, this is going to be fantastic. This is going to be a fantastic series of trilogy. I'm going to fucking love this game no matter what. And then Rebirth came out, and I was like, what the fuck happened? What happened?
I don't know.
Did Square Enix, like, shit themselves?
Like I just did.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my god, Part 3 is gonna suck. I'm gonna hate Part 3. I'm like, am I gonna even buy Part 3? Probably not. I'm just gonna replay the original. At least I know the original is fun. It makes me happy. I'm like, you wanna open the window?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we can get back to playing Brothership.
I know, I'm so sorry for this segue in my gump, but I just... Meh! I felt so gumpy because I was like, how do people not see it? Why would they just
And I mean,
do
again,
that?
like I said, right? I'm
Yeah.
kind of a newbie coming into this thing that you're a veteran of. It'd be no different than you playing Origami King and singing all of these praises about this game when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let you finish, but
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, this game's fucking ass.
Yeah. Man, at least,
But listen, we had a conversation about it. Mm-hmm. We talked like adults. We gave our opinions. We didn't shut each other down.
no.
We disagreed about a lot of things. We were like, okay, I get that, but have you considered this perspective? Mm-hmm. And we've had a productive conversation. And now we both understand each other a little better.
Okay.